I indicated to Speaker Boehner several months ago that if, in fact, Congress failed to act, I would use all the lawful authority that I possess to try to make the system work better. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen before the end of the year.
The president's threatening to take unilateral action on immigration, even though in the past he's made clear he didn't believe he had the constitutional responsibility or authority to do that. And I'll just say this. We're going to fight the president tooth and nail if he continues down this path.
It is an issue that has torn this country apart now for much more than this presidential administration. And it once again threatens to not only dig into the fabric of the Constitution, but also to perhaps once again leave this government floundering without the money to do its job. And the inevitable blame will once again be passed around with perhaps no real resolution. Amnesty for illegal immigrants? Pick a side. Welcome to MidPoint. He is founder of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and a former sheriff in Graham County, Arizona, Richard Mack. And he is the co-founder of the DRM Action Center, otherwise known as the Dream Action Coalition, representing the undocumented youth that is at the heart of this battle, Cesar Vargas. Gentlemen, I thank you both for joining us today.
Ed, thank you so much for having us.
Sheriff, I'm going to begin with you. As we discuss what is going to happen, what the possibilities may be, there was a story that came out this past week that talked about members of the Border Patrol and other law enforcement who said they were being taunted by illegal immigrants. They were being taunted by various groups right now who basically said, we're coming and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Is that the sense that you're getting from the ground, that at this point, the people who are trying to at least uphold the law as it stands today are completely helpless?
Well, not only completely helpless, but the president is complicit with all of this. And no wonder people from Latin America coming in here will flaunt breaking the law because our president is on their side. Is it any wonder that this is starting to blow up in our faces because we've had the last 3 or 4, maybe even the last 5 administrations play footsie with this issue instead of tackling it and taking care of it and enforcing the law. I cannot believe that the American people or that politicians in Washington, D.C. can tell the world and tell our youngsters that they must go risk their lives in foreign wars to stop terrorism, but we don't even secure our border. You cannot have a war on terror and not secure your border. And on the other hand, if we go down into Mexico like Sergeant Tamaresi, who committed no crime, he's jailed in some cockroach prison for 7 or 8 months, and they all knew that he had committed no crimes whatsoever. This man endured unspeakable acts of violence against himself from the Mexican government, and who in the United States did anything about it? Who in the United States is doing anything to support our Border Patrol, who are drastically undermanned and underfunded? And we continue to flaunt violating the law in this country, and I think it's an absolute outrage.
All right, Cesar, I come to you next. 90 seconds before we take the break. You get your statement here as well. Is this nothing more than a flaunt of the law? And is the president basically busting up the Constitution here with his decision on what to do?
You know, absolutely not. A lot of the powers that the president is going to be using when he announces executive action is a lot of power that Congress has already given the presidency, from this program called Parole in Place, in which he's going to allow people to remain here without fear of deportation. That's something, a power that it's already Congress approved of. Allow dreamers into the military to serve the country like myself. I came here when I was 5 years old. This is my country. I want to serve this country. Congress has already given this power. So when there's the conversations about that the president is breaking the law, is not enforcing the Constitution, this is something that the executive is doing, enforcing the law, when Congress has already given him the law. And to Sheriff's point, I completely agree that we don't have the resources, we don't have the ability to confront many of these issues, and which is why the president's taking action. Because Congress has failed to take up, both Democrats and Republicans have failed to pass an immigration bill that would allocate resources to our border, that would allocate a system that works. So that's why the president was forced, and we pushed the president, because the reality is that as a sheriff, I'm sure he agrees that we need people to come out of the shadow. We need people to come to be there. There's 11 million undocumented people. Many of them, like my mother, a 70-year-old mother, a 70-year-old grandmother now, who has done nothing wrong, has always not taking anything from the government. We need people like that for our national security to come out and for them to register.
Okay, Cesar, I'm going to ask you to stop right there because we're going to take a break, come back, and we're going to answer all those questions. Breaking back, the debate rolls on regarding the coming presidential amnesty and some of the points the sides might be missing. And at 34 minutes after the hour, one opinion that Scott Walker is nowhere near ready to become president of the United States. It's here on MidPoint.